What's up, everyone? Back for another beer review, and today I'll be reviewing yet another beer from the Half Acre Beer Company, and they're out of Chicago, Illinois, and this is their Benthic, the 2021 vintage. So they are calling this one a bourbon barrel aged Imperial Stout with a toasted coconut and coffee. Comes in at 13.5% alcohol by volume. No IBUs listed. Time of review. This can is just over 17 months old. And I'm going to give a huge thanks and shout out once again to a good friend of mine and viewer of the channel, Ross, for this beer. So big thanks to him. In the description box, I'll post a link to the beer mail unboxing video I did that contains all the goodies he hooked me up with. And when I saw this one, I was really excited because I don't think I have had a dark beer from Half Acre, let alone a bourbon barrel aged Imperial Stout with adjuncts ever in my life. So I'm really excited to see what this one's all about. And I do know that Ross enjoys this one. I love toasted coconut and coffee in an Imperial Stout, and definitely in a bourbon barrel aged Imperial Stout is my jam. So I'm happy he sent this one my way as I spit everywhere like an animal. Anyway, I'm going to crack this one open, get it into the glass, and see what we got going on. So, oh, that's pouring out like motor oil. Holy crap. So I'm really excited about that. I'm hoping now, this is, 17 months old. So it's one of those things where did the adjuncts hold up? Coconut and coffee are known to fade with time. I'm hoping that they're still noticeable. I cheated. I don't know if I should have. Stopped me dead in my tracks. They held up. Based on that first taste, they basically held up. Anyway, yeah, that's pitch black. There are sheets, alcohol sheets, not legs, but sheets. Holy crap. Yeah, that's crazy. So yeah, it's pitch black. Hold it up to the light, can't see through it. Has about a half finger of this super creamy milk chocolate looking head. Or you could say mocha, or you could say like a brown colored head, whatever. It kind of looks like hot cocoa, honestly, like the head that forms on a hot cocoa. Looks beautiful. And like I said, there are sheets. Like every time I swivel around, it just covers and saturates the glass. Looks beautiful. Let's get a nose. That smells awesome. There's a ton of sweet peppery bourbon. There's caramel, there's brown sugar, there's toffee, molasses. Yeah, there's burnt caramelized sugars is what I'm getting on the nose. There's vanillin, so the vanilla and oak is there, the bourbon's there, and I'm getting nuances of a toasted coconut and a little bit of like a coffee roast. There's an underlying roasted malt, but honestly, the base beer isn't as prevalent in the nose as I would have thought. The barrel at this point has kind of taken over. Like there's a ton of barrel characteristics, and I think the base beer, it's not as much roasty and chocolate and coffee as it is, again, caramelized sugars. I'm getting huge caramel, toffee, brown sugar vibes. It smells big, it smells boozy, it smells barrel aged, so it's not hiding that in the nose, and I don't want it to. For just over, I think it's right around 17 months old, right? Yeah, I think it's just over 17 months old. It smells awesome. There's a nuttiness in here as well. I just got maybe like a walnut or a pecan or something like that. And then there's this very light kiss of smoke as well. I don't know, it's probably coming from the barrel. Maybe like a barrel shower, but like a little smokiness from it. Oh, it smells so good. This definitely smells sweet, smells rich, smells like it's gonna be a dessert beer. I hope that it's not as rich and sweet as the nose is indicating, because I want to be able to drink this entire thing myself. We will see. Anyway, thanks, Ross. Cheers, everybody. Let's see what this one has to offer. So, what was missing in the nose, I'm definitely getting a taste, and that's that toasted coconut. Is it like overblown or like crazy? No. It's nuanced, it's subtle, but it's noticeable. That's why when I took that first, little bit of a spillage there on the rim, I was like, oh, talking about like, are the adjuncts going to hold up? The coconut definitely did. The coffee isn't as prominent, but it could be getting lost with the base beer as well, because there is a roastiness, and a lot of times it's tough to tell the difference between the roasted malt and a roasted coffee. Better palates probably could decipher the two. A lot of times they just blend together for me, and I think that's what's happening here. Let's go body and mouthfeel. Buying this one is like medium full. It's not quite full body. It's definitely close. 13.5%. It might be a bit thin for almost 14%, but not really. It's still, viscous. It's definitely syrupy. It's oily on the palate. It's slick. And that's where the mouthfeel comes in. Again, it's slick, it's oily. There's a huge smoothness to it, slightly creamy. Carbonation, it's like mild to moderately carbonated, like smack dab in the middle. So you know it's carbonated, but it's like not overly blown. The taste, everything I said in the nose pretty much carried over, but with a little bit more coconut. Front of the palate, I'll say this, front of the palate, maybe the base beer is a little bit more noticeable. It's roasted malt, a little bit of like a dark cacao bar, like a 60 or 70% cacao bar, maybe baker's chocolate, something in that realm, and then a little bit of coffee roast. So all those are blending together, and that's kind of like the base. But then what I also think is bringing, what the base is bringing to the table is that caramelized sugar that hits me right after that. Again, it's more toffee, it's more caramel, brown sugar, and it just hits you. Like, it hits me like big time about, I mean, say third way through the palate. And it's just like, wow, that's pretty sweet. I love those flavors. It's fantastic. As it carries on, the barrel starts to creep in. And again, it's more vanillin. You're getting vanilla oak, but you're also getting a sweet, peppery bourbon. And those sweeter, caramelized sugar notes start to dissipate with the barrel kind of taking over. And then on the finish, this finish is semi to full-on dry, more approaching full-on dry. Mild bitterness, but very, very dry. And that's where the toasted coconut kind of seeps in on the finish for me. It's just a very subtle toasted coconut finish. 13.5%. Does it drink like a big beer? Yeah. Does it drink like 13.5%? No. Big warming in the chest. On the palate, I can tell, it has a boost to it. But if I was doing this blind, I guess like 11 to 12, somewhere in that range. I'd probably go like, 11, 11 and a half. So it hides it relatively well for what it is. But it's still noticeable, and it's still a big boozy monster. It's just not to the point that it's 13.5%. I'm starting to kind of feel it, though. After each sip, I'm starting getting kind of warm, and I know this is a bigger beer. What I love about this is while it's sweet and decadent and rich, the first maybe halfway, or the first half of the palate, maybe the first 3/4 of the palate, it dries out enough on the back of the palate, and I just love that like lingering toasted coconut flavor that's not overly sweet as well. I would guess say, what am I kind of disappointed in this beer? I'm disappointed maybe that the toasted coconut isn't a little bit more vibrant. Maybe the coffee isn't a little bit more in your face. But the beauty is I get the coconut. The coffee is kind of mixing in, but I still get it. And the barrel, while it kind of saturates the second half of the palate, I still get the base beer to some degree. It's very complex. And what I love is that it's not crazy sweet, because a lot of these can be too sweet, especially when you introduce a couple adjuncts. I know coffee usually doesn't lend a huge sweetness, obviously, but toasted coconut can, and they just did a beautiful job of balancing out this beer. It's the first ever barrel-aged Imperial Stout I've had from Half Acre, and I can say that I'm super fucking happy with this because it's delicious. I'm going to drink the rest of this, probably sip on it for the next 45 minutes to an hour, and just enjoy myself with this one. And yeah, thank you, Ross. I do appreciate it. I don't know, again, if Ross sent this to me because he knows I like toasted coconut. We've had discussions before, or he was just like, hey, I wonder what he thinks about this. Beer. When he sent it to me, it was probably like 14 months old, something like that. So the fact that he sent me this beer and it has some age on it, he must have thought a lot about this one, even with age, to send it to me. He's not going to send me some kind of trash beer in this situation, and he didn't because it's delicious. So Benthic, the 2021 vintage from Half Acre. I have absolutely no issues whatsoever giving this beer a high 4.5 out of 5. I'm going to go 4.55. This is delicious. I know they release some different variants of this one. I would love to try anything else from Half Acre and anything else within the series. This is great. For the first, again, barrel-aged Imperial Stout, or barrel-aged beer period from Half Acre, they have hit this one out of the park for me. And again, this is just over 17 months old, so it has held up quite well. If you do have any cans of this in your cellar, if you're in Chicago and you grab a bunch of their stuff whenever it releases, if you have this, grab it. I think it's drinking extremely well right now. Price point availability, I have no idea. So Ross or anybody in the Chicago area, chime in. If this is very similar to Revolution, where it's usually like $40 a 4-pack for the 12-pack, if this is $10 a can, I would gladly pay that. I'm sorry, get hammered. I would gladly pay that for this, because this is quality and it doesn't breach my dollar per ounce kind of limit I put on a lot of different beers. Sometimes I surpass that, it doesn't matter. But for something like this, I would easily pay $10 a can. No questions asked. If it's cheaper than that, fantastic. And availability is Half Acre. I know they get distro outside of Chicago and outside of Illinois, but I don't know if this series specifically, would make it outside of the state. But if it does, grab some, because this is fucking fantastic. So huge thanks to Ross for this beer. If you've had this one before, or any other vintage or any of the variants, post in the comment section. Let me know what you think about it. My mouth's still watering despite drinking this, because I just want to drink more. Yeah, it's just delicious. Thank you very much, Ross. Appreciate it, everybody. To the next one. Cheers.